Hi guys, welcome to my tutorial. A lot of you guys were interested in seeing how I created my ocean heart rock. So I'm here to show you guys all of the material and step by step on how we go about creating this. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a 3 3/4 inch Grecian heart stone that I've taped on the edges to stop a lot of the pooling of the resin, because we have to do so many layers of resin. It ends up building up on the back, and so we're going to try to eliminate that. And I'm using a cup as a stand to allow the resin to drop off. I'm also going to try it for the first time on the 2 by 4 inch rectangle Grecian stone. Same thing. So the materials you would need is the apple barrel cobalt hue blue, and we're going to use the apple barrel Laguna and the Bimini blue apple barrel. And for the sand, we can use a light mocha or any light color brown. Sometimes I mix the two, sometimes I just use this one, depending on how light I want the sand. And this beige color. Also optional is the champagne extreme glitter, which is this color. And in this rock, I actually used some of the sand, glitter for the sand, I mean. And of course the famous hologram glitter from Folk Art. That is going to cover the entire rock. And white apple barrel to lighten up towards the break of the waves. So here we go. So get quite a bit of all the colors. Sometimes this actually takes a few more coats than normal. So add as much or as little as you want and try to blend and get a lot of coverage. Once the resin does hit, you can't really see the blemishes. So we're gonna just start off with this, and really the objective to do this is just start dark and end up light. So I'm going to start with the cobalt hue, and I'm using a round number 8 brush, and we're going to go ahead and paint the top of this, and you can add it to the edges. And then we're going to go in with the Laguna and go right over this. Wiping off your brush, and then do the Bimini blue. Go right in with that on the edges. Really, this is just a preference of how you guys want to blend your colors. As this is drying, we'll go back over it again to get the actual blending where it kind of just all fades together. So keep your strokes back and forth on the color, trying to blend each color together. Keep going in over and over and over till you achieve what you're looking for. And then I do a little bit of white. And each one is going to vary. Make sure that you cover the sides pretty well, because those will be exposed with the resin. And once you take off the tape, we'll have a white line on the edges. So just keep blending your colors This actually took the paint pretty well. Once it starts to dry, you might see some transparency. And again, like I said, just go back in until you achieve what you're looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Make Our Sand with the light mocha. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the beige. I'm gonna switch brushes and use a 6 round. I'm just gonna mix these up a little bit. And same thing, just go back and forth. You probably wanna wait until this blue dries a little bit because it's gonna blend in and make your sand a little bit blue. Just trying to get this done quickly to give you an idea of just the basics. You want to kind of go a little bit high with it so that we can get a nice break with good lacing from the resin. So let's do that for now, and we'll move on to the rectangle and come back to this one and fix any blemishes or any flaws, and obviously add more paint so that we can achieve the look of the ocean. So same thing here, grab your dark blue, and you can use any color of blue, anything that you guys want, any colors. I've seen it done in several different blues or just one solid blue or aqua. And again, hit your edges. And this is really easy. You don't have to be particularly clean with it. Feel free to be sloppy, because again, when the resin hits it, it takes away all the flaws, all the blemishes on the stone, and any transparency gets covered up with the holographic glitter as well. So these are taking the paint really well, and I'm liking the way that these are. Oops, almost knocked over my camera. I've never done a painting tutorial before, so bear with me. I'm hoping I'm not missing any important details, but you kind of get the gist of what we're going for. I know you guys have this probably down. This is the easy part. So just keep blending, and then we're gonna go on to our sand. I'm gonna actually okay. All right, so we're gonna switch again, trying to let these dry. My son's gonna be editing these videos for time lapse so that you guys can see it dried and the where it's already completed. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. So here we go, where these are starting to dry now, which means that now they're gonna start taking the color better. All right. See how the lines are starting now to blend into each other. And then we wanna kind of lighten these up towards the bottom. All right. So I'm gonna go back in with the sand color. If you want to add some texture, some color, you can add some darker, some lighter. It's really just up to you guys how you want this to achieve this look. I'm actually gonna have to wait until it dries in order to put the holographic glitter on. So after you accomplish the faded blues that you'd like of the ocean, again, the best is to start off dark and end up light. And then once it dries, then you can put the holographic glitter over all the way up to here. And if you want the gold glitter, the champagne glitter, or gold, doesn't matter, then you can add that to the sand or you can leave it natural. It's up to you. We'll do one with the glitter, one without. Okay, so should we cut it here and go ahead and wait till they dry and then add the holographic glitter? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this and stop the video, and we'll wait until these dry, and then I'll come back and show you how I apply the glitter to the sand and to the stone, to the ocean. Okay, I'm back with the second part now that these are dried. I did a little bit more blending and a little bit of added paint. As you can see, it's a little bit transparent where some of the paint did not take, but again, like I said, that's not gonna matter once the holographic glitter goes on. And also you can see with the lacing, it will cover up a lot of those mistakes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do one, this one in the champagne glitter for the sand. The other one I'm gonna just leave natural. So I mix a little bit of water in with this. Oh, I used a little much. So I'm gonna use a little bit of water, and then I'm gonna go ahead and you can put a lot or a little. It's up to you. And get the edges. And that's it. So now the glitter is applied. This is also kind of like the holographic where it dries clear. So, okay. So now we can go on to the next phase, which is the hologram glitter. I call it holographic. Extreme glitter. And same thing. We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water to our mixture. And then we're gonna back and forth in light strokes go over the top of the ocean with the holographic glitter. And we're gonna do the same thing over on the heart. And this doesn't have to be perfect because it all dries clear. I'm a huge fan of this. I use it on everything. All right, so you can continue to add more, or if you want it to be lighter or less, then you can add more water. It just really depends on how much you want your ocean to sparkle. And I've seen people add some feet print in the sand or turtles. So you can take this piece and make it anything you'd like. And you can use any color you'd like. No glitter, glitter sand. So I'm a fan of really kind of the natural look as well. So of the sand, you can see the difference. So that's it. So that was phase one, was getting your colors and your blending, and then you wait till that dries and then cover it with your holographic glitter. And then the next phase is having these resin fully. The whole thing is going to be a slight pour of resin. And then tomorrow, when it dries, we will add our first wave. And if you can see, there is the depth of it. There's these ripples, which this was the next phase. So you do your next, your first wave tomorrow, and then you wait until that dries. And then the next day you do your second wave. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow once this is dried and cured, and I'll show you what we need to do to create the lacing and the products you'll need. Have a good day, and we'll be back here with our resin tutorial on these two pieces. Thank you. Hi guys, we are back. So right now I have on my gloves and my mask, which these are the best mask to use. It's the 3M. I would suggest covering your eyes with goggles or some kind of safety glasses, gloves, and a mask for sure. This is toxic. They are chemicals. So we're going to start off. As you guys know, I've done a resin tutorial before. This is a little bit different. My first one was a rub. This will be a pour. So to give you guys the idea of what it's going to look like when we do the phases, you have to do the whole rock coated the first time in resin. So this is the Envirotex Light resin. This is the hardener, and I got them in the gallon size. This is the hardener, and this is the actual resin. What I'm going to do is pour the resin into a little cup, and I kind of just eyeball this, and I get about that much, just the bottom, and I will be doing the same for the hardener, just enough on the bottom, and we'll hold them up to each other to measure to make sure that we have, you want to be pretty much exact on this. I've gotten a little bit good at eyeballing how much I need. You guys might want to mark your cups, which is a good idea to mark your cups. So I'm even on both of my cups. And then I'm gonna pour one into the other, scraping the sides with a wooden stick. These two mixed will create the resin. And the directions to this is to stir for 3 minutes, but I sometimes cut corners and have stirred for only 2 minutes, and I find that both results work the same. I didn't make the product, so I'm not sure that it makes that much of a difference. So we're gonna go ahead and start stirring. I've got the timer going for 2 minutes. What you wanna do is continuously scrape the sides of your plastic cup, and it will start to get a foggy look. And you continue stirring, scraping the sides. This creates a lot of bubbles, which is why we have a torch to pop them. So continue stirring for the 2 minutes, and then we're gonna pour over the top of each rock, and then we will torch the bubbles out and let sit and cure overnight, and then tomorrow we can create our waves. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area as well. You guys probably want to open your windows, your doors, or if you have an art studio or something like that, open up the windows there. Eye protection, your mask and your gloves. And if someone has an accident with this, alcohol, rubbing alcohol, or what's the antibacterial solution works too. So continue stirring until the 2 minutes is up, until it's fully incorporated and fully mixed. Okay, we're almost done with that timer. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna start to pour, and go ahead and pour. There we go. There's my timer, just in time. I'm gonna pour a little bit of this, and I'm gonna use my stick to spread out all of my resin. And you can scrape on the sides of it, scrape your stick off on the sides so that they are fully covered. Because we're going to be using this resin more than once, eventually your sides will be covered. But the important part is just making sure that the whole front of your piece is fully covered. Not too worried about the sides because those will eventually get covered. So there is one side. All these sides look pretty good. So there's one. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest of it. And same thing here. Spread your resin out evenly. This is self-settling, so if it's uneven or poured in some spots higher than the other, eventually overnight, it will fall off the sides and lay flat. So no one really likes to waste resin, so you want to scrape all that you can out to get those sides covered. Now, that looks about good. Now what we do is we take a torch to get out our bubbles. You can use a straw, you can use a heat gun, a blow dryer, or a torch. This I think was $19 or so on Amazon. I have a screwdriver stuck in it because it has the safety mechanism, and when it gets all resined, it's kind of hard for me to keep continuing to try to pull the trigger on that one. So you go in and then all of your bubbles are gone. If you get a close-up, you can kind of see the bubbles, and as you watch they all kind of disappear. Sorry, there's kids outside. My dogs are barking. So that's it. And now all we have to do is sit and wait until tomorrow. This will set up and cure, and I will be able to touch it or add another layer about after 10 hours. So tomorrow we will add our first wave, and I will show you how to do the lacing and the products then. Have a good night. Thank you again. Okay guys, we are back on the second day of our tutorial. These are fully cured, and now we will be able to do our wave. So this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with our 3 cups. And what we did yesterday was measure out evenly my resin, which I'm going to use a little bit extra because I have another rock I'm going to resin. that I painted last night. So we're gonna go right to about right here to the top line. It's probably way more than I need actually, but we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna use the hardener. And let's see here. So that's even of my resin and my hardener. I'm gonna pour them into each other. And this is a lot of resin, but I have another piece, so we're gonna be separating some of this as well for our pigmented white. All right, so make sure we scrape the sides well. And then we begin our 2-minute mixing. Same process as yesterday, except for this time, we're not gonna cover the whole rock with resin. In order to create the layers, we're gonna start midway of the rock. If you guys don't have other rocks to resin, I would not suggest using so much resin. So in this process, have some spares laying around so that you don't waste the resin. So continue scraping your cup and stirring. We're gonna take some of this resin and dump it into another cup, a small portion of it. And this is what it will start to look like. It will start to clear up with a lot of bubbles. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a small amount of this. I'm gonna still continue stirring here, but I wanna get a small amount of resin. A few drops, just enough to fill the bottom of the cup. And we're gonna still continue stirring this resin. For the 2 minutes. Again, the directions say 3 full minutes. I'm a bit of a rule breaker, so there we go. There's the 2 minutes. So, okay. So what we have here, if you are not familiar, is called Casting Craft, which is an opaque pigment for your resin. This is what creates the lacing effect. I have not tried any other product to see if I can get the same results using other things, but this is Casting Craft in a white opaque pigment color. And what I do is I give that extra resin that we poured into the cup a nice squirt, a nice squeeze. And then this is Snow Cap. It's a alcohol ink, which is we're gonna use about 1 or 2 drops into the resin, which kind of also creates the lacing when you torch it. So this is Snow Cap alcohol inks. We want to shake this up and do about a drop or 2 into the cup. So these will be the only 2 products you need. Alcohol inks and Casting Craft. All of these come in many, many different colors. So if you guys want to pigment your ocean with a blue, they have blue Casting Craft, they have blue alcohol ink. If you use alcohol ink, just by itself, for the backgrounds of your pieces, it makes it translucent. When you use a casting craft, it is super pigmented and will cover the whole piece. I use this in some of my resin pours. If you want pigment. If you want translucent, use alcohol inks. So now with that, we're gonna take a separate popsicle stick and stir in our casting craft and alcohol ink mixture. And as you can see, it's just very, very little bit of resin. And we are going to use this for our waves. So give that a good mix. So now this is the important part. In order not to, to create a layer of waves, you want to make sure that you keep all the resin off of the bottom of these. You don't want any resin on the bottom. You want all the resin to start here and move up. So we're going to start the first piece and we're going to draw in resin the shape line of your first wave. And we're going to start a little bit low on the sand. And whatever design you want, the white resin will go beneath this, below this. So whatever kind of design you want to make, just make sure that wherever you draw that line, that all your resin goes up from there. So now you want to add your resin to the top of that line that you just created. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to create an ocean line. Looks like I got a little bit of white on here. Okay. So now that we have created our wave, we are going to torch the bubbles out. And now we will take our pigmented mixture and very delicately and slowly go underneath the resin line that we just created. And then we are going to take this Protect heating gun, and we are going to put it on a low temperature and slowly push our wave upwards until we start getting some breakage. And you can kind of see how it's starting to break up. When you achieve this look, then you quickly torch it to break up some of the lacing. And then it will create a lacing effect. Same thing here. Take a small line underneath your wave that you just created. And take your heating gun and push your wave until it starts to break up. And then hit it with a torch. And there you have it. So this will look a little bit different as the resin starts to settle. it's a lot right now, but overnight, throughout time, the resin and the lacing starts to create different effects. And then tomorrow we can start another wave right here, or we can leave these pieces the way they are with only one wave. Right now they're done. This is a finished piece, and you can start to see that some of the casting craft and alcohol ink are breaking up, creating some lacing. I have created another piece last night on a 3x6 inch Grecian rectangle that I custom cut, and I'm going to use the rest of my resin to do a wave. So let's put this here, and we're gonna do the same thing. I have some resin left, and we're gonna create this wave. We're going to do the same thing with this piece. Oops. I'm going to torch my bubbles out. And then take our mixture and do a thin line right below the way we just created. If you mess up, wipe it out. Okay. Our heat gun. And there we have it. So now all of the pieces are done. And if you come back over here and look, the pieces have changed slightly. Now all of the lacing has came through for a beautiful ocean wave effect. And now we can come back tomorrow. I think this one can be done, and tomorrow maybe I can add another wave to this one. Other than that, I think the pieces turned out pretty well. And then I'll show you what the final product looks like. If you want to take off the tape, you use the heat gun and it will release the tape. So I think that's it. I think we're complete with all of our pieces. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see your guys' attempt to create this look. Please share and like the video, and we will come back tomorrow. Have a nice night. Bye. All right, guys, this is the third day of the Ocean Heart tutorial. I've already pre-mixed my 2-part resin, and I also went ahead and pre-mixed the white pigmented casting craft and alcohol ink. And so what we have here is, I will reveal what this looks like soon. We're going to go ahead and complete the ocean heart. On this one is complete. I'm going to leave the only one wave. I think it's completed. So we're going to go ahead and repeat the process. we are going to draw our line of how we want our wave to go. Same thing. And then we will put the white resin underneath the line that we just created. Okay. We'll pop our bubbles. Okay. And then as we did before, we will add all right. We will get our heat gun, start pushing this wave. And then we will hit it with our torch. Should have refilled my torch. And there you have it. That is the end of that ocean heart. So what I wanted to show you was this is the completed one that we tried. I actually sanded the back. This one I forgot to tape. So this is the finished product. It only needed one wave. And this is on a 3x6 Grecian tile. And so this is what we will end up with. So you can heat the sides of the tape. Should help release and there you have it. So this has 0 drip marks because of the tape, and it's got a nice clean line, and that is the completed product. So because we only added one wave, this is the end results of these two. And tomorrow, this ocean heart rock will be complete. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Stay safe and have a great day. Bye, guys.